Hello and welcome back to Tales Untold. I'm Wyatt,
I'm Erica.
and today we will be talking about a conspiracy theory that I've heard of, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I don't know if I'm on the wrong side of the internet, but
I know I am.
it has to do with the Titanic and the Olympic. The RMS Titanic was a huge ship that sank in the early hours of April 15th, 1912. And I think it was like 4 in the morning or something. But it sank because it was like 5 days into its journey and it hit an iceberg and it scraped the side of it, and they couldn't steer out of the way in time and they just sank. And the Titanic went up. I don't think it was like a 90-degree angle, but like an angle.
Well, once it started taking on water,
Yeah.
it started being like going under the water. It was submerged.
Yeah,
and then
it was like tilting
being
up.
such a big ship, eventually it was upright, but also being such a big ship, it's gonna end up upright, and then with all that weight, it snaps.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that the two pieces are like a mile apart.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't, like when something falls in water, it
Yeah.
doesn't fall straight to the bottom.
It makes complete sense. It's just crazy that happened. And it's like 13,000 feet below water.
Yeah.
Something like that. It looks super weird underwater. Like, it's very broken down. I mean, this is over 100 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely a tragedy in and of itself.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy here is that it was not actually the Titanic that sank.
And it was the Olympic.
Now, I remember you telling me this about a month ago or something. We were talking about it. It came up somehow, and I was blown away. It had never even crossed my mind. I knew there was the three sister ships, the Titanic, Olympic, and the Britannic, but I had no idea that people were thinking that it wasn't actually the Titanic that sank.
Yeah. I think that's a crazy thought.
It really is. And it would be absolute insanity if for some way they could be proven right or wrong, you know?
Right, but like I feel like if they lied about the name, there's no way to really prove it because they will never come out and say.
I mean, it's kind of too late now.
That's
true. The people involved are no longer alive. Either they went down with that ship or they lived out their life very wealthy.
There was like 2,000 and like 300 passengers, I think. And I think like 1,500 of them died.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's more now. That's half.
I can't even imagine the freezing water.
That's insane. That's insane.
I think I mentioned it in a previous video. Hearing the sound
of a shipping sink.
Yeah. Or the implosion anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty sure one of the cylinders imploded.
Yeah, and all of the things, everything in that ship that's not anchored down is going to shift.
Yeah.
Everything, like any of their possessions, they're going to be all over the place. Like it's just going to be a mess. But my biggest question to you when you brought this up to me was, why would someone do that? What would anyone gain by swapping the name of the ships like that? And I accidentally stumbled upon that answer one day. Jumping into a different rabbit hole, I came across this, that the theory is that J.P. Morgan was the one who swapped the names of these ships because the Olympic was involved in a collision with the Royal Navy cruiser HMS Hawke and was badly damaged. And no insurance company would insure it.
What year was that?
I would imagine before
1912.
Correct. It was September 20th, 1911. So 6 months or so before the Titanic set sail.
Interesting.
So no insurance company would insure it. So he essentially had a useless ship.
Yes.
No one was going to want to sail on a like you can't. And
So is the theory that what we know as the Olympic that collided was the Titanic and it had like some big voyage that it was supposed to do?
the Titanic was intentionally sank, is the conspiracy theory, because
Oh.
it was the Olympic. So what they did was they swapped the names. They intentionally sank the Olympic that is
Titanic,
staged as
yeah.
the Titanic, so that he could collect the insurance company insurance money.
But I thought they wouldn't insure it. So
If it was the Titanic, they most certainly could.
I see.
And then when the war came, the Olympic was used in the war,
Which would have been
which ended up also sinking.
which we think is the Titanic. The
Correct.
conspiracy.
Which the conspiracy theory says is
so
the
they both
Titanic.
went down.
Eventually, yes.
So-
However, this was insurance fraud.
Yeah.
Like the biggest scheme ever.
So did the Titanic also go down?
I didn't think so. I'm pretty sure there's still one that's standing.
So maybe the Olympic didn't sink and it
So the Olympic, if the conspiracy theorists are correct, the Olympic, which is actually the Titanic, served as a British ocean liner from 1911 to 1935 and was then sold for scraps. And it was nicknamed Old Reliable.
So then what happened to the Titanic?
That one also sank. It is also on the bottom of the seafloor.
But
That might have been the one that was in the war.
okay, that would make sense because the Olympic is not at the bottom of the sea.
Correct. It is in scraps. That is your Britannic. After the war, the White Star Line was compensated for the loss. So the Britannic sank in 1916.
Titanic.
Sorry, Britannic. No, the Britannic. The one that's unrelated to this conspiracy theory sank in 1916.
But they're all the sister ships, aren't they?
Correct. They're all part of the Star Line.
The White Star Line?
yeah.
Are you sure? Because... Oh, I see. So then why is... I mean, I don't know anything about ships, but why is this one HMHS Britannic? Well, the other one's called RMS.
I have no
Titanic.
idea. Maybe because of their function?
But like, what would that stand for?
His Majesty's Hospital Ship or Her Majesty's Hospital Ship.
So what does RMS stand for?
That's not helpful.
That's algebra something.
Royal Mail Ship. So they were intended to carry mail?
That's so... Oh, it was originally referred to as the SS Titanic, which stands for steamship. This is super weird. Too many names.
I know. There's so many abbreviations. Or acronyms. So the theory here is that the Olympic, I'm assuming pretty much just paperwork, was swapped with the Titanic because the Olympic was not insurable.
No.
So then they intentionally sank it.
Which, I mean, would make sense.
Yes and no, because I was thinking about it. They still
Why
have a
would-
ship that's uninsurable.
Why would it make why would it not make sense?
Because, yes, they sank the Titanic,
Right.
right? That was the one that is capable of being insured. Okay, they got the insurance money from that. But now they still have a ship that is uninsurable.
So this
Even though it actually is. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am so confused because, like, when you say the Titanic, are we referring to what people know as the Titanic, or are we in the conspiracy?
Yes, in the conspiracy world. So say they swapped the names, right? So it's the Olympic dressed as the Titanic sent out to the sea to be
The passenger ship, right?
Right. That is sent on its maiden voyage. It's almost there. It crashes into an iceberg, in theory. But they actually intentionally sank it so they could collect the insurance money from the Titanic. Right? So back in England, back on land, there is still the Olympic. No, there's the Titanic dressed as the Olympic that is still technically uninsurable because it is dressed as the Olympic. So it's still not insurable. Unless they can say, oh, we fixed it. It's fine. Come check it out.
They could have done that though, because
I'm not sure what deemed it uninsurable.
Because the Titanic dressed as the Olympic could have been in better condition than the Olympic.
Oh, absolutely.
This is I don't know what I'm talking.
It's definitely getting confusing, but you know what I'm saying? The ship that's left behind the actual physical ship that did not sink, regardless of its actual name, is still uninsurable.
Right.
But if it is actually the Titanic and not actually the physical Olympic,
then it would probably be...
It should pass whatever it needs to for insurance.
And that's why they could have done it, because at that point
But I would imagine they would have had to have shown something to be like, hey, we fixed it. Unless they slipped somebody some dollars and said, hey, I fixed it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, would they though? Like, when you get your car inspected and it doesn't pass, do you then have to show them?
Yes.
You do?
They have to inspect it and see if whatever is fixed is fixed.
Yes, but like, do you actually have to show them a receipt that you actually like paid for it, or can you just go in, hey, I'm ready for a re-inspection, can you inspect it, and then if they see what was wrong in the first place is fixed?
I'm not 100% sure now. They have made it, well, I mean, even from my experiences of having crappy cars when I was a teenager to now, they have, in the last 5 years, they have made Massachusetts inspections insane.
Yeah.
They have made all kinds of regulations and all kinds of things to make it really difficult to fudge an inspection.
Yes, but back then it was probably...
That's what I'm saying. Like, did they just pass somebody some dollars and be like, hey, insure this for me? Or, didn't the Olympics serve in the war?
No, I'm pretty sure that was the Britannic. I don't even know.
Yes. Yes, it did. It served in World War I as a troop ship for the Royal Navy. What were the exact years? It says the Olympic was a popular vessel on the transatlantic route in the 1920s. The Olympic was involved in an accident with the Nantucket Lightship in 1934. So this thing was around for a long time.
You know what I don't understand? How do boats get in accidents? You have the entire ocean.
People not paying attention.
I think that's insane. There should be literally no boat accidents.
They probably all happen at the docks. You know, at close quarters. It's kind of because you can't stop on a dime.
No.
Like you have the water mode. Like you can't.
You just kind of... You
throw it in reverse and you hold your breath. Like, like you wait for that will. Like, please. Like,
so then
it's not a fast process.
No, it's not. So do we think the Britannic is also involved in this conspiracy, and this guy that owned the sister ships were just mixing the names around for his benefit? Because, I feel like there's a whole lot.
There certainly is. So the idea that JP Morgan is part of this conspiracy and is the main proof for this conspiracy is he had a ticket on the Titanic. And JP Morgan. He was the founder of the actual JP Morgan company. So I guess he canceled his ticket last minute to be on the Titanic. So people are seeing that as a huge red flag that he was in on this conspiracy.
I can see that, but like,
I can see it being suspicious. Absolutely. Like, what if his aunt was sick and he had to go across country? Like, I don't know. But it's definitely suspicious because then it also says that 3 men that supposedly opposed J.P. Morgan's plans for the Federal Reserve: Benjamin Guggenheim,
sure,
Isidor Strauss, and John Jacob Astor IV. So none of those 3 men survived this incident from the Titanic.
Not many did.
Well, I mean, these were 3 high rollers that did not make it off.
Were they men?
Yeah. Well, yes, but they're also high rollers. But the theory is that he sent them there to go down with that ship because they opposed his thoughts on.
So do you think J.P. Morgan arranged some sort of business meeting and then canceled his ticket last minute without telling them so they would go down? Because say he was involved in this, he would probably want his opposers dead.
That's the idea. Is that
it's probably like the best chance to kill them without killing them.
Yes, without getting your hands actually red. Yeah, so I was very shocked reading all of this. I don't know if I believe it.
I feel like that's a very big, like...
Yeah, that's a big...
That part problem. Is, but I understand if they switch the names. I think that's very possible.
Well, what's funny to me is, like I was trying to say, we still have a boat back home that is not insurable. So unless that was kept under wraps and we've only just recently found that out, or they said, you know what, screw it, I don't care if it's not insurable, it's needed for World War I, you're going to use it.
And like, did you need it to be insured to like float it or drive? I don't know what you would
sail it.
Sail it.
So in 1912, there was no strict legal requirement for a ship to be insured in order to sail. But it was common standard practice. So that kind of answers that question about the Titanic dressed as the Olympic still being on land. It's a totally fine ship.
To sail?
They can, well, if it is Titanic.
Yeah.
Right? And not the Olympic that they intentionally sank. So I can kind of see where it would be okay, especially if it's not doing a voyage like that. And then they shortly ended up using it in the war anyway.
Yeah.
And then that one did not sink. That is the one they used until 1935.
The Britannic. This is where
not the Britannic.
So the Olympic that we think is actually the Titanic.
Correct. Which I think is interesting because then I remember, especially from the movie, they were considering it an unsinkable ship.
That's how it was in real life, too.
Well, right. But
I'm pretty sure one of the news headlines was "Unsinkable Ship Sinks." Yeah.
That's terrible.
I don't know.
That's bad taste. So I think it's funny that they considered it the unsinkable ship, and then they intentionally sank a different ship under that name, but the actual Titanic never actually sank.
That'd be crazy.
Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it would.
Because they considered it unsinkable.
They did.
No lives lost.
Yeah, that's one of the earliest newspapers.
Oh. I remember that they didn't even know that it broke in half until
someone
like none other until a long time later.
Because like 13,000 feet, like even now we can't actually really go down there.
Not as people know. We can send those probes down.
The Titan submersible.
Is that the one that imploded?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if it counts.
It had 4 successful journeys, though. Like, they did make it down 4 times before.
Oh.
but like this time, I guess.
I guess it reached its quota.
Yeah, I don't think the submersible was built right, like at all.
Yeah, I think there was that's a whole conspiracy theory in and of itself. So I think it would be really crazy if the Olympic had actually been the Titanic and it never sank.
It would have.
Of the three sister ships, like wouldn't
Like,
that be
the one
something?
that actually, wait, hold on. The one that everybody thinks sank and is the most famous didn't actually sink.
Yes. How wild would that be?
Crazy. I feel like that would be like.
It's really unfortunate that it's not still that's not the right word. It's still in action. That's not the right word. It's not still a whole ship because they said they sold it for parts in 1935. It would be awesome if it was still a whole ship.
And you could go like see it.
Especially with this conspiracy theory right now. These people are probably upset that ship is not whole.
I forget when it was. I think it was in like 2013. People were talking about how they were going to try and bring up the Titanic. I feel like it would be a very bad idea to bring it up. And like, it's too late now. It was too late in 2013 or whenever. But like, it would just...
It would disintegrate.
Yeah, like, they'd probably get it off the ground and then... Like,
yeah, you'd be lucky to be able to pick it up. There would be... It was not worth it. What would you even
attach it to?
Yeah, well, you'd have to do...
Rusted poles?
Like, well, you'd have to put, like, dig underneath it and, like, put a whole net underneath that whole portion you're trying to lift. Like, it would be a project.
Yes.
I don't understand the purpose, though.
I don't, like, that's a graveyard.
Yeah. Like,
most people consider.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a need to bring up something.
No. There's no reason. Like, I get it would be, like, nice to look at, but it's like...
But it wouldn't, because it would just disintegrate. What are they going to do? Make a huge tank the size of the Titanic so that you can keep it underwater still?
It would be cool to scuba dive.
It would be cool if they could do that, put it in a tank, and you could actually, like, venture in it.
That would be so hard to do.
Yeah, and I think part of what's keeping it kind of alive is the animals and the fish and stuff that are living in it. You know, like... Okay, now you're going to take away all of that, too.
I want to see all the old, like, nice...
I know, the woodwork in there is beautiful.
I know it would look horrible now.
Oh, sure, but...
But, like, seeing all of the objects and things, didn't they bring some stuff up, or was that just in the movie?
I think they have brought some stuff up, yes. I don't see why not.
Yeah. I want to go to the Titanic Museum. The actual one, not the one.
Where?
I think it's...
So after this conspiracy theory came into play, I looked up photos of these ships because honestly, I never really focused on it before. They are nearly identical.
They are. I was blown away. The Titanic is
the most significantly different. Like, you can look at that one and say, oh, that one's not the same ship. But these two, you could show me these pictures separately, and I would think they were the same ship.
Just different days taken.
Yeah, different angles even. Like, these two pictures, it's insane. That could have been the same ship. I would have no idea.
Also, why did he build two identical... Or why did White Star Line have two identical ships?
Probably just easy to copy the blueprint. You know what I mean? You don't have to put in a lot of effort into changing your product and your supplies and stuff. You can use excess from one for the other. You could swap parts, stuff like that. It probably just makes it easier.
Yeah. The museum is in Tennessee, and like it has the degree the water was, and then it has this room that tilts up as far as the Titanic went.
Oh my goodness.
Stand in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That
would be really cool.
The museum is the ship.
Why is it in Tennessee? The shape of the ship?
Yeah.
That's cool. Why is it in Tennessee? I feel like that's kind of random.
I think there's actually two.
I know there's one near here. Near us. Like a small one.
Yeah. I went there. It was pretty nice. They had like some movie props.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is like... It'd be so cool.
I wonder if they ended up with a bunch of the pieces from 1935 from the Olympic.
Maybe.
The Olympic. We think.
The one I went to was pretty nice though overall. It had like old documents that were cool. I actually bought like a model ship of the Titanic. It's like metal and super cool. And the movie, it's like the Titanic movie is so long that it was on 2 VHSs.
I remember.
That's insane. I think that was the first longest movie. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was
Well,
like over 3 hours.
yeah. I know there was another movie, Waterworld. That was a very long movie, but I think that one was like 2.5 hours. It's
That's how
actually
movies are now.
right. You'd be hard pressed to find an hour and a half long movie.
I'm actually
now.
going to one tonight.
Oh, really? So this picture here I find very interesting. It took me a minute to figure out what it was showing me. So this is what the Titanic, that's actually what we believe to be the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
And then that's an enhanced photo. I don't care about enhanced photos. So this is a black and white view of the window spacing of these. This is the picture of the Olympic. This is a picture of the Titanic. Those windows are what make people believe that is not the Titanic.
I feel like we should not be going off of windows, but they do look drastically.
Well, that's really the only difference.
No. Look. The one at the very bottom. Look at all those dots.
Yeah.
And then look at the smaller rectangular windows.
Yes.
There's more of them and they're smaller.
This is what's at the bottom of the ocean. This is the actual Titanic.
It's very interesting.
So the things that are different about the Titanic and the Olympic
it's very like
they're so small.
Little. Yeah.
So being able to notice these differences is insane.
You'd have to be like looking.
And not only that, the Titanic is so deteriorated and full of coral and stuff.
I was going to say we shouldn't go based off of this, but like then I noticed.
That's really all you can go off of.
Yeah.
Because like I looked at these pictures here. Like you had to point these things out to me.
There's also not great photos of it underwater.
Right. So this is the part that photo was just showing us right here. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe those pictures or not, because this is saying it's the Titanic, but that's this, and this is labeled as the Olympic. So it's just making my head hurt. I feel like we're going around in circles here.
I'm getting confused with like the names.
They're too similar.
Yeah. And like since we're talking about the conspiracy and like real life, it's like, what do you mean the Titanic? Do you mean the Olympic Titanic or the Titanic Olympic?
Yeah. My brain just melted. Exactly. I mean, it really seems like these windows are the only significant difference.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because we don't have photos of or well taken photos of it underwater. Either of them.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. The Olympic never sank. That's in pieces everywhere.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the junk
Britannic.
one. The Britannic is underwater.
Oh, the Britannic. They're so similar.
Oh, here's this. So
is that underwater?
So this is an underwater picture.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, in theory, the Titanic, right? And this is, in theory, the Olympic.
That looks like the Olympic. Because the Titanic doesn't have those.
Does it?
No, wait.
Right?
They look so similar. And that's a horrible photo. I mean, I can't really expect much more from murky, deep, dark water.
Right, and I'm also trying to figure out where we are in the ship. Like the top of this ship could be so deteriorated that it's collapsed.
Yeah.
So we're not actually looking at the correct depth.
Or I don't even know.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
I don't know. Is that even what they're called? Or steam stacks?
Smokestacks, right?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Whatever the yellow and black ones are.
But it would also depend on when the pictures of the Olympic or the Titanic were taken.
Yeah.
So, and when they made the switch. Depends on what picture you're looking at. You know what I mean? So if you're looking at pictures of the day of the maiden voyage,
it's obviously going to be already switched.
Right. They had already made the switch. So you're going to have to look back at maybe during the production.
But I feel like it's very hard to find actual picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of AI pictures. There's a lot of hand-drawn pictures.
There's artwork and stuff. Like, it's just very hard to find, like, an original one.
And stuff from the movies.
That, too. The movie was, like, so close to the actual one.
Yeah.
Like the ship, not the actual story.
It's definitely gotten more convoluted the more we've looked into it.
Yeah.
Because I did try to look up the picture of the Titanic the day that it sailed. But that's when I realized that
it's going to
look like the one under the water, because if they did switch it, it was already switched. But they are so similar.
They are, like, looking at the Olympic and the day of Titanic.
Yeah, but this could be the Titanic that we're looking at. This picture of the Olympic.
But
because it could have been after they had already switched.
It could be if they did,
or after the Olympic has already set sail. Yeah. I don't know when this picture was taken.
And what would be super helpful is like underwater pictures, but like all the ones that we're looking at, they're just so. Wait, actually, look up Titanic underwater back end, because remember they split in half.
Yeah.
Or it split in half. I feel like they only really show the front.
Yeah, I'm really only seeing the front. Where's the rounded end?
The propeller things.
Yeah.
At the very top, there was...
Oh, there might be a propeller here.
At the very top, I saw, like, that.
That's
the propeller.
not a real
No,
picture,
I mean...
though. This?
Yeah, that.
But that's just the propeller. That could have flung off and...
So, maybe look up, like, what happened to the rear end. Maybe it's just completely disintegrated.
And they're still giving me pictures of the front.
Maybe something with, like, National Geographic Titanic, because they probably have, like, a scan of the ocean floor showing the overhead. Have we not gotten pictures of the back?
Right? Oh, there's a boot. That's so terrible.
Crazy that it made it all the way to the floor of the ocean.
I think that's the back. But, like, only the back. 2,000 feet apart.
Wow. So I guess not a mile, but...
Pretty close.
Wow. Look at all those shoes.
All those shoes. Oh, my goodness.
How did it make it all the way down?
Well, there were probably people still trapped in the boat. People that died where the water flooded before they could get out.
Wouldn't they float up eventually?
Not if it can't get out. If they couldn't get out, neither could their feet. Wow.
I wonder if stuff ever ends up floating up.
Probably not at this point. I'm sure 100 years ago, for like a week or so after, there was probably people and things floating.
It's crazy that this was over 100 years ago. I think it was like 113, if I did my math right and quickly.
Yeah, something like that.
It's got to be an insane discovery, like finding that in the 80s.
Yeah, they must have been excited, shocked, all kinds of things.
So this was a robot that, or like something like that, that got this on camera, right? Because like
one of those like underwater rover things.
Yeah.
This footage, never before seen footage, was released to mark the 25th anniversary of the film. There was a film that they made back in maybe the 50s or 60s.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
It was, well, not only that, it didn't show the ship snapping in half like the other one.
No.
Because they didn't know that had happened. It was before they found the wreckage. So they didn't know that happened.
They just thought it sank.
Yeah. And it probably didn't even occur to them to be like, I wonder exactly how it sank. They just assumed that it went down.
So, like, how did they depict that? Because I'm assuming they didn't know that it hit an iceberg.
No, they knew that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they knew that.
From, like, the survivors?
From the survivors and stuff. They knew that.
I actually think the Titanic movie did a really good job of what happened. Obviously not the love story.
Yeah, they inserted the love story.
Also, that movie, I don't know how it's 3 hours. I don't even know what happens in it besides...
You haven't watched it?
No, I have. I've seen it multiple times, but, like, I don't know...
You don't feel like you're watching it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think is what happened. Is like, you don't get bored. They don't have unnecessary scenes.
Yeah, maybe that is what it is. But, like, what I'm wondering is the filler scenes.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's the fact that you were entertained the whole time and it held up through time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not bored. You're not sitting there like, all right, well, what happens? Like, come on. You know, you're not.
But like, I honestly can't recall anything besides obviously like the love story and things. Like everything aside from what happened to the Titanic, the voyage, the snapping in half, hitting the iceberg, and then obviously the Titanic.
You don't recall the love story part?
I recall most of it, but I don't know what happened. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
I'm not understanding what you don't understand.
like, it's a 3-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
Alls I can remember is the love story, the like T-pose at the front of the ship, it going down, the violin people, the water scene, and then Rose as an old lady throwing the bracelet into the water.
Necklace.
Necklace.
But, yeah, that's the movie.
I'm just trying to think of the scenes. Like,
there's a scene where Jack takes Rose down to the bowels of the ship with all the not first class passengers, and they have a party and they're dancing and whatever, and it's just a love story that's mingled into a tragedy. Like, it's not.
Maybe the thing is, it just doesn't feel like 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it did a really good job of entertaining you so that you didn't realize you were sitting there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It gave you enough.
That's probably it.
It gave you enough of Rose as an old lady to understand that was who she was, what happened. It gave you enough of the love story so that you're not sitting there like, all right, can we move on from this? I don't care about them. What happens to the ship? And then you get into the politics of the ship and all those first class passengers. And then the tragedy strikes.
I guess so.
So, like, you're not bored. You're not stuck with one set of passengers and you go, okay, can we just move on?
Like most 3-hour movies I watch, they get boring, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. But this did a good job of making you not bored.
Like Avengers Endgame, that got boring at some parts.
I think I only watched it once.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, those movies are an investment. I'm too late in the game to try to watch any of those to like follow the plot. Like I'm too late. So these pictures, I wish they had dates for all the technology that we have. I think I would have to go to like this pictures from the Library of Congress. I'd have to go there and actually look up those specific pictures. And
which kind of sucks. They can't just put them online.
They probably are.
But
they're convoluted with all of this other crap. All of these CGI photos they're trying to depict where they are at the bottom of the ocean. They're trying to show you it from a different angle, but like, I don't want a different angle. I want it how it is.
I actually ran into like a recent problem like this. Like when I went to the Conjuring house, I was trying to figure out what war was fought on that land. Could not figure it out. And I wanted to go to this place, I think it was in Burnville, where it had like a history like library in the basement or something, and it had like old books and stuff of the town history. And I didn't end up going, but
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I get lost in one of those places.
That would probably have a lot of...
That would have a lot of information that's probably not on the internet.
Yeah. I would like to go there sometime. I also do want to go back to the Conjuring house, but as of right now, it's closed.
Still?
Yeah. Did I tell you what happened?
I think so, right? There was some sort of legal something?
Yeah, it was, they were operating under a false license.
That confuses me.
I don't... The Titanic interior was so nice.
I know. It's like a grand hotel on the water. This grand staircase is really
accurate in the movie.
Oh yes, definitely. But I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
Like it's not easily forgotten. They don't make stuff like this anymore.
No, they don't.
I think it would be kind of a lot to us. You know, like these days the modern look is clean, empty, like not all of this gold laden designs. Like this I think we would be overstimulated by all of this.
It looks so nice. I don't know why they don't make stuff like that anymore.
Money.
But then they can get even more money because of how nice it looks.
There was a pool. Oh no, that's the Titanic too. They are making a Titanic too. Did they already do it?
I don't know if that's real because that news article has been out since like 2014, and like I remember telling someone about it, but like it was so long ago, and I don't know if they're actually doing it. Yeah, 2012 in April.
Why?
Of all things.
That's so funny. They're calling it a functional modern day replica of the Olympic class RMS Titanic. Why are they calling it that?
Why are they calling it both?
Olympic class? Maybe the
what does Olympic mean in classy boats?
I don't know. I would imagine it means like, the best of the best. I'm guessing. But why would they also name the ship Olympic?
I don't know. It's also horrible that they did that, like, probably exactly 100 years after April 2012.
Yeah.
It happened in
1912, yeah. Blue Star Line.
What happened to White Star?
Right?
So is it not happening? I don't think it's happening. They were silent for over 5 years and did not release any further updates until March 13th, 2024. Oh, its voyage is in June 2027.
2 years from now.
So
wow,
where
they've
are
been
pictures of
planning
this
this
thing?
forever.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any.
So who's going to actually go on this?
I don't know. Whoever can afford it.
Well, like, why would you want... I don't want to go on
goodness.
something called the Titanic, too.
And they're also looking for, like, they're showing the changes that they made to make it better than it was. Welded, not riveted hull, a greater beam for enhanced stability, a bulbous bow for higher fuel efficiency, although moderately sized compared to ships of newer design.
There was nothing wrong with the old Titanic, or if it was changed, Olympic. Whatever it was.
I don't know. I did see something, a documentary or something, about how the hull wasn't built correctly. How, like, this thing was doomed to fail from the beginning.
It sailed for 5 days, and it just didn't steer out of the way of the iceberg in time.
Right. But there's also theories that there was a fire brewing in the coal compartment since the day it set sail.
Isn't that for it to run?
No, like in the coal there was a fire.
Like
not
controlled?
Yes.
Oh.
So like it was doomed to fail anyway. So
where did the theory come from, and why do people think that?
So I guess there's a photo where it shows that there's a dark spot in the front of the ship where supposedly there was a fire.
Mm.
Although the engines should be near the back of the ship, shouldn't they? Not.
I'm pretty sure it's the entire, like,
the whole bottom,
like where the red is.
That's insanity. But like, it seems weird to me to not have your fuel source a little bit closer to the propellers.
I think it was just the entire, like in the movie anyway.
It's a big space for sure, but like it's a big ship.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure this thing is tiny in comparison to the cruise ships that we have now.
Oh yeah,
those things are
like a little boat.
Yeah, like these things are huge.
At least to some of the cruise ships.
Yes, the cruise ships in comparison are 10 times the size of this thing.
I
think it's just bad taste to name it Titanic too. It's just bad taste.
And honestly, who is actually going to go on
Titanic nuts? Like people that are obsessed with it.
But like, why would you want to go something named?
I don't know.
I feel like that's just, like you said, bad taste.
Yeah, they're just looking to make money.
I wouldn't want to go on it.
No. But they're gonna.
If it was called something else, then maybe.
Honestly, I hope it does not sink. Because it would just be.
That would be
bad on so many levels. Because they're boasting all of these different, like it's almost like history is repeating itself. Because they're boasting all of these things that are making it safer than the other one was. Okay, well they deemed this one unsinkable also. So
Let's hope they don't do that with this one.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Also, why don't they just build one that you can tour?
Right. Yeah. It doesn't have to sail.
Yeah. I don't know why they have to make it a voyage.
Because
Also,
they can make money off
is
of
it going to be the original voyage from
Exactly.
Philadelphia to New
Probably.
York?
Probably.
I think it was Philadelphia.
No, it was England.
Oh, where did I get
Probably because that's where the
Oh,
museum is.
wait, no, that's Tennessee.
No, that was Tennessee.
So,
Where'd you get Philadelphia?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand the reasoning for this.
Let's just hope they don't do it on April 10th.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, it's June.
Yeah. Whew. The interior of the ship was intended to be similar as possible to the original. Tillberg Design of Sweden was contracted to produce drawings replicating Titanic's original interiors. However, the original wooden paneling does not conform to modern fire regulations. So, as in Queen Mary II, veneers would have had to have been used. Plans showed a layout broadly similar to the original, but with the third-class cabins modernized. And consideration being given to ensuite bathrooms throughout the ship. Oh yeah, that's right. They would have had to share bathrooms back then.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, they would have.
How weird.
Yeah, that's a weird concept to us because even hotels nowadays have bathrooms in the room.
I wouldn't.
You can still stumble upon like bed and breakfasts that have like you rent the room, but you share the bathroom with the other guests.
So is it like a Walmart bathroom? Do you mean like that?
Yes.
Oh, that.
So
I
like
thought you meant like.
But there would be a shower. There would be yeah.
So like
there would be
prison.
I mean, if that's the comparison you want to make, but kind of, yeah. No, maybe more of like a locker room.
Okay.
More of like a locker room. You're going to get more privacy. You're paying for stuff. And
have you ever heard of the ship Queen Mary? Or no, wait, is it?
I don't know. This one just mentioned the Queen Mary.
I know that's what it. So why does the Queen Mary look like the Titanic?
I mean, it's a ship.
But like,
I guess there's only so much you can do. They did pick a lot of the same colors. And then you got your smokestacks. How many of those does it have? Does it also have 4?
No.
No, how many does it have? 3?
Yeah, I think 3.
Yeah.
So,
but I think like this was trying to say is that the Queen Mary had a lot of things changed in it because the Titanic sank.
Have you heard of the Queen Mary? Like,
no.
It's apparently a haunted ship, and I've actually wanted to go there before. The original ship is still there, and it's like a tour thing.
Where?
Probably somewhere far away.
Probably.
It's in California.
That is kind of far away.
It's drivable, though. California?
That's the other side of the U.S., my dear.
You could still drive there.
It'd take a really long time. I don't want to drive there. I'd rather take a 5 hour, no, I think it's 6 hour flight to get there. Then you cross the time zones. Be all kinds of tired.
But the most haunting part about it is the propeller room. Because I forget exactly what happened, but like a lot of people fell down into it and died.
I was going to say, that's a dangerous place in general because of what it is. Like the engine rooms are just going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
No matter what thing you're driving.
Like, look.
Oh, yeah, you can just fall in there. That's cool. Why is that like that?
And the water is like dark unless there's a light, which...
Yeah, that's insane. Why would they make it like that?
I don't know. I forget exactly what happened, but that just freaks me out.
That is, like, it's eerie. That light makes it really eerie. Maybe we'll have to look into that one next week. We'll have Queen Mary as our
next topic.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good idea.
So join us next week for more information on the Queen Mary. I'm Erica.
And I'm Wyatt.
Thanks for listening.
This is Tales Untold.